Hey everybody, Tom here at Rocket Restorations, and just wanted to show off the newest truck we just brought home. I've been looking for a crew cab long bed truck for a while. I kind of want to do a Cummins conversion on one. I just think it would be a cool tow rig. I mean, I've got my other modern trucks, but they don't have as much personality as one of these. But I'll get back to that later. My good friend Bob Kropp had this one for sale. He's a Mopar guy in the Seattle area. He's been around forever. He actually has a Hemi Superbird. He bought back in the 80s, but Bob's a nice guy. He daily drove this thing for a lot of years, and he wasn't using it anymore. He's not really doing the Mopar thing anymore, so he sold this one to me, and I've been looking for one that is a complete rust bucket, and here we go. So I got this one, and then I also got that one a month or two ago from a buddy of mine, so hopefully that provides some parts of this one to put this back together. But let me give you a little tour of the truck. So first off, it had 16 and a half wheels when Bob had it, so he put some Ford steel wheels on it, and I don't know, the color isn't an exact match, but it's pretty close. I definitely need to get some dog dishes for this. And as I said in the previous videos, when we bring a project car home, you know, we don't clean it up or anything. This is literally how we got it home yesterday. So it's got fairly new tires on it, so I think we're probably pretty good there. It's got towing mirrors. I mean, this wouldn't be a long distance tow truck just because, well, I'll show you. So hiding under the hood on this is a 440, and it is a real factory 440 truck. So I don't know what the production numbers on these, but it's not real high. The biggest problem with this truck is it's just been kind of shade tree mechanicked to the point where it just needs a lot of work. So apparently it wouldn't start a lot of times, so Bob put an electric fuel pump on there, and well, I don't know, I'm not a big fan of that setup. I think we're going to try to go back to a mechanical fuel pump, which it has there. My guess is the mechanical fuel pump probably isn't working very well, so that's why you put that on there. As you can see, the gas has been sitting for a couple of years, and it's pretty brown. Also, I'm not a giant fan of a plastic fuel filter sitting over the exhaust manifold. That's just asking for a fire to happen. So this is stuff we're going to fix before I really drive this thing. It's got a Edelbrock carb on it with electric choke, which that's fine, although it doesn't have much accelerator pump. You know, all the typical stuff. But you can see the wiring is pretty cut up underneath here. It's definitely seen better days. So they do make reproduction wiring harnesses for this, so I'm thinking I'm probably just going to buy a new harness for it and just kind of start from zero. You know, got the big radiator in it, overflow tank, but just a lot of just shade tree stuff. You can see the treated cooler lying down there has been patched, so those are probably broken at some point. Just has a generic radiator in there. There's no Mopar part number on it, but it seems to be cool in the truck, but we'll see how far we can go on it. Does not have the underhood sticker, unfortunately. The Dodge trucks had a equipment label underneath the hood, right about there, that told you all the options on these. It does have, you know, the truck tag on it, which, you know, I haven't decoded at all, but the nice part on these trucks is the VIN tells you what it is. It's not a super rusty truck, but as you can see, it does have a little bit. You can see there's a little bit in the corner there. That's a real typical spot. All the pine needles and stuff gather in the cowl area there, and there's a drain over there, and it clogs up with pine needles. And unfortunately, in the Northwest, we have a lot of pine trees around here, so they tend to clog up. And when pine needles get wet in a cowl like that, they never dry out. They just don't. Once they get wet, I mean, unless it's a whole summer, and when you just have wet against metal, I mean, also the metal in there wasn't very well rust proofed, just because they couldn't get paint in there from the factory. You know, it's kind of like it's down the cowl there where the drains are. So that kind of combination. Right now, just have 2 leads for the electric fuel pump. So this is not one I'm going to drive on the road until I get some of this stuff sorted out, because I don't think it's safe right now. Got power steering, which is nice. It's got a kind of a drag race style cutoff switch, which means you can keep those two connected for the electric fuel pump. But as I said, I'm going to get rid of all that stuff. I don't like it. Bob also said the oil pump down there goes into bypass mode sometimes. I think the springs may be bad on it. There's a spring in there that kind of like regulates when the oil pump goes in the bypass if the oil pressure is too high, and it's just not working. So I'm probably just putting an oil pump on. You know, I don't like messing around with that stuff. I mean, I could probably fix the original oil pump, but a new one's not that expensive, and it's just peace of mind. You know, you lose oil pressure going down the road. This ain't blow motor. Had cruise control, of course none of that's hooked up. It would be kind of nice to get that fixed. Cruise control is a nice option to have. Here's a bunch of old trailer towing stuff. If you see a bunch of wiring under here like that, that's generally the case that it's some sort of trailer towing thing. You can see the compression fittings on the brake lines too, just random brake lines. So probably had hydraulic trailer brakes at some point, which again, not a big fan of. The electric trailer towing stuff just works so much better than that. You're just asking for trouble. In fact, I think it's illegal in Washington, actually. Not that I would run it anyways, but again, just another example of something that's been a little shade tree mechanicked here. You know, all these brake lines are just kind of all over the place, compression fittings, you know. I'm pretty sure all these brake lines are available from like stainless steel tubes. So I might just get new brake lines and just replace all that stuff. It's really not that expensive to replace. I'm sure the front to rear brake lines are good. You know, you just get a master cylinder down the prop valve. It should be a lot better. It's the vacuum hose for the cruise control. So, all right, now I got on the interior. Everybody keeps on asking me to do running videos. Just wanted to show you. It just started pouring down rain, so it's like oil pressure's good, 50 pounds, staying cool. Factory oil pressure gauge works. Fuel probably not. There's 2 tanks on here. Temp works. Alternator works. It's got aftermarket tack. So right, we're just moving the truck over here and parking it so it's out of the way. And it's pouring down rain. Let's see if the wipers work. They do. Kind of a must in Washington. They don't park though. Next thing we wanted to show you is the VIN on this. As you can see right there, it shows it's a factory. The wind's trying to move the door. It's a factory 440 truck, D200, so 3/4 ton. But I think they consider this kind of a heavy 3/4 ton. It's a 9,000 gross vehicle weight, which is kind of interesting because the like my white truck over there, like the 3/4 tons in that was only 8,800 pounds. So it's kind of interesting that in 1977 they had a higher gross vehicle rating than, you know, the second gen Cummins trucks, the 3/4 tons. So it's got kind of the old school brake system. Again, I'm probably going to replace that because I am planning on towing with this. You know, it won't be a long distance tow rig, but it's got some nice seat covers on it. This is kind of cool. Bob gave this to us. So that's State Motors was in downtown Olympia. That was a salesman thing. Courtesy pocket sign. Spokane stamp works. It's kind of cool. Yeah, State Motors was a Plymouth Chrysler dealer in downtown Olympia. And then a Pentastar pen. MTSC, that was the training stuff they did. It's got an aftermarket stereo under there, and it's got a water temp and oil pressure, which is nice. Just a factory AM radio, but they put an aftermarket stereo in here. No tack, 100 miles speedometer. Steering wheel's pretty nice. There's a little bit of floor rust, but it's really not too bad. These crew cab trucks were notorious for the rust. They did not do very well. You can see down there, that's the drain in the door. It's got a little bit down there, but it's not super duper rusty. Some aftermarket speakers in the back. Rear seat, that's really in pretty good shape. You know, most of these didn't get used that much. It's got, does have some rust back there. That's probably the worst rust in the truck right there. Again, these were real common on these trucks. A lot of them had roof rust too. You can see up there, some starting to come through a little bit. I don't know why, just the water tended to collect up there and rust those things out. It's got 2 tanks. The one on the back's pretty corroded, so that needs to come out and get cleaned up. And then the back tank in the back is in a little better shape. I'm actually not sure what the total fuel capacity is. It's probably like 20 or 25 and 25, I'm not sure. Big heavy duty 8 3/4 axles. Truck bed isn't too rusty. It's got the toolbox in the back and the mat. I'm assuming the concrete was for weight, because these things rode pretty rough going down the road. So, you know, overall pretty nice truck. It's got a 7 plug on the back. Again, I'll probably get one of the newer trailer controllers for it, because that's one thing these things lack pretty bad is brakes. You know, they have front disc brakes, but they're just not that heavy duty. It's got a big hitch on it, so it should be good for that. It's got a 4-pin connector on the back. It was still licensed last year in 2022, so it's Bob was driving it fairly recently. Fortunately, it looks like it got run into something back here. So it has dual exhaust, but the exhaust was like bent forward, so it actually hit something. So definitely gonna have to get that fixed. It's got true dual exhaust, but it said it's bent back. I haven't even washed this thing. It's still got green stuff on it. A little bit of rust in the quarter, but again, I've definitely seen worse. The storage compartment's kind of cool. So it's like basically a fiberglass insert for like tools and stuff, and you can lock it up. It's kind of a neat factory option. I mean, it's so funny what Dodge did back in the day. You know, a lot of their Dodge trucks were really innovative. I mean, they obviously didn't sell nearly as much as the Chevys and the GMs and the Fords, but you know, they were the first one with this compartment. You know, they're doing that now with the Ram box. You know, they were the first one to do a club cab. You know, everybody had crew cabs back in the day, but you know, Dodge was the first one to do the club cab, extended cab. There was a lot of innovation in these trucks, you know, even if they didn't sell quite as well. It's pretty solid underneath. They tend to really rust right here where they got extended, and this thing's really pretty clean. There's an extra fuel filter back there, so I think there's 3 filters in the system. So I'm definitely gonna have to go through and I may drop all the tanks and just make sure they're clear. Big Dana rear end in it. You know. So yeah, as I kind of mentioned in the start, I've been kind of looking for a crew cab to do a come and swap, but this one's a 440 truck. I don't think I can do that to a 440 truck. I mean, if it was a 318 or a 400, it'd probably be a good candidate for that. But being a factory 440 truck, I'm probably just gonna have to bring it back to stock. And I'm not gonna do like resto on this. I mean, I'm just gonna get it running, try to get it a little more reliable, and go down the road with it. So, all right. I hope you enjoyed the video.